Climate-KIC. For those who don't know us, we are Europe's largest public-private partnership for climate action. We run a budget of about 100 million euros a year. We're mandated by the European Union to deliberately innovate in the climate space. We have been incorporated in 2010, so we are rather old kids on the block, but of course the world has changed dramatically since then. And the world has dramatically changed since then. We find ourselves in this a big movement at the moment of climate action being at the center of everything, of all the discussions. So we're very pleased to see that, and through this evolution, we also came across the ETH as a partner community. So what I should say is that we run a partnership community of about 400 partners spanning from industry to academia, NGOs, public sector, private sector, and also cities. And one of our most successful formats, which I would like to present to you today and discuss a bit in the context of the Climate City Cup, is what we call the Climate-thon. So I want to spend a bit of a time to just unpack a bit these three words there. 5 years ago, we started with an idea and an impact hypothesis that if we really want to decarbonize our global economy, we need to start with cities. Cities are one of the major areas where we can win this battle and where we can really transform on a large scale. And this is why we started with a hackathon format, which basically had the idea of bringing, hopefully globally, by now it's globally, people together and hack around city challenges that are handed out by the cities and that are hacked by the community. First, it was mostly experts, but the more it moved on, the more inclusive it got, and it's by now what we would like to call, an ambitious call, a movement, by saying this should be as horizontal and as inclusive as possible. Because one of the theories that lie behind the transformation that we need, or transformational pathways that we need to embark on, is that we need to move beyond an expert world. So we know that the expert world brought us into this situation that we are in here in the first place. And when we really are looking into how we can transform entire systems, like the city space, for instance, we know that nobody knows the answers. So starting from a place of not knowing is actually a good thing. And this is what Climate-thon should be all about. So we want to hack solutions that really bring city systems onto a transformational pathways that is in line with a 1.5-degree world. And we know we're far off that. So when we talk about solutions, we also talk about collective intelligence. We want to make Climate-thon a global movement. In 2019, we were covering 146 cities with more than 6,500 participants in 56 countries on the planet. And just to also dissect a bit the role of Climate-KIC, of what we are doing. So the Climate-thon itself is a one-off event. So we have, at the same time, all over the world, in the city spaces, people hacking climate solutions for cities. So there is all of this collective power that should underline all this program as well. But there is a lot of work that goes into the definition of these climate challenges. So we know when we talk to city authorities that they are not really used to hack as a format, to agile problem solving as a format, transformational pathways, what is that, what do we consider a system? So there's a lot of educational work, it has been mentioned several times, that we also need to take care of. So there's a lot of educational work that we need to do up front. With the cities together, when we approach the Climate-thon event, we start to frame the challenges and the challenges of the cities together with problem owners. So we have talked about what's the role of the public bodies, what's the role of the private sector. And so this is, when it's about owning and sponsoring these challenges, it's very much around, again, a public-private partnership of different local stakeholders in the communities. And then Climate-thon is taking place. I'll show you some numbers afterwards. And after the event, we basically collect all the collective intelligence and the solutions that have been sourced during the Climate-thon event itself. And Climate-KIC runs a wide portfolio of activities in entrepreneurship, education, innovation portfolios, and so forth. I'm happy to talk about it in more detail over lunch if you're interested. So we are looking into connecting those solutions that have been brought up and the minimal viable systems that have been developed, and source them into our community and see how we can build leverage, how we can develop those solutions from there and scale them up with the ambition that we need to deliver climate action or climate impact at scale and at pace. So in the interest of time, I will skip those, because I think what I would like to focus on just in the last couple of minutes is what is our connection to Climate City Cup. So yes, Climate City Cup has also understood that cities is a key area and a key systems where we need to transform in line with a 1.5 degree compliant world. But we also identified very early on that we have some complementarities that we can leverage and cross-pollinate from and with. So we're running this already for a couple of years, and we're doing it, so we have 7 FTEs that sit behind this program alone. So we have some expertise in running such a large-scale global program at scale. But what we're lacking is we're doing it pretty hands-on. So this is pretty dirty work. And I like what Thomas just said, we don't really know how to do this, we need to test it out. And this is exactly what we're trying to do and get better at year after year after year. And what struck us when we started to have or initiate this discussion with Climate City Cup was that the different lens, the perspective of gamification and competition between the cities, but also this very much data-driven perspectives, because we also do believe that data and data governance and data collection and making sense of data is critical in order to make sense of all the solutions that have been provided, and also hack a system in a way that we really understand better where and how to intervene. And so going forward, we would like to continue this discussion and learn together of how we can actually bridge those two worlds and make our world, the Climate-thon world, more data-driven and maybe more gamified, but also to probably help you guys to scale the initiative with our city context, and also make the whole ecosystem just more viable. Because one design principles of what Climate-thon is very much based on is nobody owns Climate-thon. We run it, we curate it, we partially finance it, but nobody owns it. It should have its own flexibility, its own dynamics, and that only works if you really, if we partner globally with partners that can deliver at scale, but also with local partners who understand the needs and the particularities around local ecosystems and challenges. If you're interested, reach out to us, talk to me, write to us, go to our website, climathon.climatekic.org, and anything else, I think I will leave for a discussion over lunch. So thank you very much for your attention.